So what happens if you are ignoring all of these important parts and you forget to plan for payments and banking? Well, a lot of things can go wrong. First of all, most probably you will overpay a lot of things, because if you don't understand how to negotiate your fees, if you don't understand how low you can push your own fees, trust me, you're going to be overcharged. So the most important thing is to put things in perspective. What is happening around my money? Who is handling my funds, right? So you need to understand, who is that payment provider who is giving you the solution? Is that payment provider regulated in Europe? Is that payment provider regulated offshore? What is the risk around your fees? If things go wrong, where can you go to get remedy? Can you actually go to the police and report them? Because most probably in a crypto provider, it's not always the case. Or you need to travel offshore and try to execute your rights in some country that you never even heard of. So that's one thing. The second part is the fees. It could be very, very expensive if you don't know what are the benchmarks and the industry standard practices. So if you just set up the business, if you push through your minimum viable product and then you try to find a payment provider or bank to work with you, most probably you're going to find someone who is going to be very expensive. So you need to talk to those payment providers and banks that you want to use, which are on a lower fee, and ask them, what can I do to work with you? What are the products or services that you want me to provide? And then he will be able to understand that, if I'm doing that, those are going to be the fees. If I'm doing this, that's going to be the fee. So then you have an understanding and you're not rushing into a decision. When we are talking about fees, a lot of people start to forget that it's not always about your taxes, but also about your payment and banking fees, because you can be legal and your tax advisor can say, yes, everything is good, but your bank or payment service provider can still say, not today, which means that you need to understand sometimes you're paying more in payments and banking fees and risks of losing funds or frozen account that you would have paid in taxes if you have kept everything in-house. So let's say you're selling something for 100 euros. On 100 euros, you try to optimize taxes, right? But taxes are usually paid on a profit. So let's say it costs you 80 euros to create that 100 euros, so you're working with a healthy 20% profit margin. If you are paying taxes on the 20% profit margin, 20 euros, usually 10, 20, 30% of that. But if you think about it, the payment provider is charging you on your revenue. So if you are being charged 3% on a card fee, plus a fixed fee, plus this fee, plus that fee, it could be 5 euros overall. But if you compare that to your profit, 5 euro versus the 20 euro profit, you can easily pay to your banking provider 25%, which could be even higher than taxes. So if you start thinking about it, things get in a completely different approach. And that's when you realize, oh, wow, it's not only the taxes I need to optimize for, but also on payments and banking too. In the next episode, we're going to discuss who should be appointed by making all of those payment and banking decisions. And I tell you on the side, it's not going to be your finance person.